is Combat Misfits. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I am live. My name is Dave Miletto, and I'm here with my co-host, Chris Thedick. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Exhausted. What a late night we had last night.
What a late night. We will be covering UFC 268, our reactions from that historic pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden. For all you guys watching right now, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are live on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and we are live where you can watch us later, the audio edition on Apple Podcasts.
Yep. Spotify also.
Spotify as well. Yes, don't forget.
Yeah.
So please, if you have any questions during the podcast, chime in. Any comments, chime in. We look forward to having your comments in the comments.
Yeah,
so,
we're very active on all social media. So if you reach out to us, we pretty much get back to you at a timely fashion. Answer questions or like talk about fights or anything, really, man. Like, we're always there. We get a lot of comments from people sending messages and everything. So we appreciate all that support and feedback from all of you, man. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, we love it. So let's dive right into this card. We're going to get into the action. It was nice and it was a glorious pay-per-view. We had Kamaru Usman defending his belt in the rematch with Colby Covington. We had Rose Namajunas defending her belt in the rematch against Weili Zhang. We had the most craziest fight, in my opinion, fight of the year with Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. I mean, it just blows my mind how great this card was. If you slept on this card, you should be ashamed of yourself, because this card was worth every $70 that you had to spend. I mean, and we also had Canelo Alvarez fighting last night against Cal Plant.
Mm-hmm.
What a crazy fight that was, man. I mean, he unifies the belt, and it was. Oh, we got some. Yeah. So we got Canelo Alvarez unifying the belt in dominant fashion, finishing Cal Plant in the 11th round. And we're going to dive into all the reactions as well as Chris's reactions. So we're going to start off with the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Holy crap.
Man.
Holy crap. Is Kamaru Usman not defined right now as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC, Chris?
Oh, clearly. Man, that was just like pure dominant. Like, Usman had got rocked like near the end of the fight, and I thought maybe that was the time where Kobe's going to change the tide, and it didn't. Usman stood there. He defended all the takedowns again. Man, Usman is just so dominant. I think it's undenying that he's pound for pound the best fighter in the UFC right now. I think it's just pure dominant. I don't think there's anyone in the welterweight that's going to beat him now. If anything, I think he might have to. Someone's going to have to like change the weight class or do like a super fight, because Usman is just too dominant in the welterweight. I don't think anyone's beating him in welterweight.
Do you think the judges scored this fight correctly? Because it was a close decision. It was a close fight all the way through.
I think you have to, because I think the 4th round and 5th round was Kobe for sure. I think Usman was slowing down, but the first 3 was just Usman by a landslide.
Yeah.
But in the 5th round, I think you give a slight edge to Kobe, because Usman was fighting back. He was throwing some good combos. Kobe was kind of winded. He was getting tagged too much. I think that's what it was. I think they gave it like a slight. 4th round was, I think, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Usman. 4th, Kobe. 5th, slight edge to Kobe. But it was still a pure dominance by Usman to get the unanimous decision.
Now, do you agree with a lot of people saying that Kobe was almost finished in the 2nd round?
Clearly, yeah.
He was hurt.
He was rocked.
He was hurt.
He was so hurt, he shoot for a takedown. Usman stuffed him, and then the only thing Kobe could do was hold on to a body part so he can't punish him. That's all he was doing, holding on so he won't get dominated.
The resurgence from Colby Covington in those championship rounds was very, very important to watch, because he really overcame a lot of adversity in the first couple rounds. Like you said, Kamaru Usman had the advantage. He came in, used his striking, and he is a fun. Look, Colby tried that takedown later in the fight, and a lot of people were saying it was a takedown. It was
the trip.
Well, he kind of got his back and then took him.
Yeah, he tripped him.
Yeah, basically tripped him up.
His knees hit the ground. Like both knees hit the ground. Takedown. Judges says no takedown, and they said it was because that he didn't hold him down long enough. You have to have at least 3 seconds on the mat on your knees to consider it to be a takedown. It wasn't, so he's up. So they said nope, no takedown.
And there was a lot of arguing back and forth between Daniel Cormier and
Joe Rogan, yeah.
Basically saying, Daniel Cormier was like, that was absolutely a takedown. Joe Rogan was like, I don't know. The guy in the truck needs to check that film and run that shit back because it may not be a takedown. But, so it wasn't scored a takedown.
Right. So he still has 100% takedown defense.
Which is incredible. Never been taken down has Kamaru Usman been. Like, it's crazy how dominant this dude is. Now, I got to ask you some questions, Chris, and I would like to ask questions to everybody watching out there. Do you think this fight cements Usman as the greatest welterweight of all time?
Oh, that's tough to say that. I don't know, because you have GSP.
That's what a lot of people...
Matt Hughes. Man, I don't know. That's hard to say, because I love GSP. I think GSP is probably the best welterweight that we've ever seen. But Usman is definitely putting up a heavy resume. He's putting up a heavy resume. It's tough to almost deny Usman to be one of the best, or not the best, welterweight we've ever seen. Man, that's tough. I would say maybe 2 more fights. If it's just pure domination, I would put him in that category of being the best ever. It's just hard to put. See, it's just so hard to put him over GSP. I love George. It is just so hard to say that. I don't know. What's your take? I don't know. It's hard to say that.
Well, this has to be said. So Usman is 1 fight away from beating or tying Anderson Silva's record for winning streak. So he is now 15 in a row winning streak.
Right.
And Anderson Silva holds that record at 16.
Right.
So 1 more fight, he will tie him, and then potentially surpass him with the winning streak of all time, UFC all-time winning streak.
Right.
That's super impressive. I don't know if he tops George St. Pierre, and it's very hard to say that. George St. Pierre was dominant, and it just goes to show with him with him being considered as the greatest welterweight of all time in the likes of George St. Pierre. It just shows what kind of person Usman is, what kind of fighter he is.
Yeah, because I agree, because he is getting better. Like, you see the last fight when he had with Kobe, you see, he was, real mad and he's real aggressive. This time he was more timid. He was taking his time. He wasn't, trying to knock his head off like he was doing in the first fight. He took his time. He's like, I know I can beat this guy. I got to take my time. And he did. He took his time, and he still won. So it just shows that he's getting better over time. His boxing looks more crisp. His jab is just phenomenal now. Before, it was working on the jab. Now his jab is phenomenal. And you could just tell how much his boxing has progressed since then. It's just amazing. He has a good boxing coach, that's for sure.
He really does. He has improved a lot, in his 15 fights with being in the UFC, and he's just super dominant. I mean, there is nobody else like Kamaru Usman, and he possibly should be considered as, if not the greatest welterweight of all time, he at least is the fighter of the year. You think? The UFC fighter of the year, you think he captures that award when it comes time?
Yeah, because he's fought a few times this year. So, yeah, I would say that. Fighter of the year, yeah.
With his fight against Gilbert Burns, and
Jorge Masvidal.
And Jorge Masvidal and Tyron Woodley,
And Kobe.
and Kobe twice. So it's he's not fighting bums, man. These are legit candidates for,
a title.
For a title. Yeah, exactly. So, It's not like they're just throwing him the number 10. They're throwing him the top 5 dogs, And he's already beat Leon Edwards. He's beat Gilbert Burns. Now he's beat Colby Covington twice. Now Vicente Luque was supposed to be the backup fighter for this.
In case someone missed weight or couldn't fight.
He missed weight.
Yep.
He missed weight.
How's that happen?
What does that?
How do you try to be a call-in and then you missed weight? How's that happen?
Now Dana White said. A lot of people were saying, "Look, Dana White, did you already know that Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, they were on weight? So did you potentially, or somebody in the UFC potentially, go to Vicente Luque and be like, you don't really need to cut any more weight? They must have saw him struggling." But I don't see that being the case because Dana White even said himself, no, nobody really told him to stop cutting weight. He just didn't make the weight, Well,
I think he had a sense that they weren't going to miss weight. These guys, see, there's certain fighters you can tell, like, he might miss weight. Like, these two, they're pretty substantial. Like, they're like, I ain't going to miss weight. I'm going to fight this guy. I want my title. So,
but
yeah.
when you're of championship caliber, you should be in fight shape ready. So if it's... I get that they asked Vicente Luque to be a backup, rather quickly. It didn't come, too far away from this fight. It happened within the week, like a week or two before this fight. They basically came to Vicente and was like, "Oh, you want to be a backup fighter just in case?" Mm-hmm. Look, you need to be in fight shape ready. You need to be always on weight. You never know when that shot's going to get called. You don't know. Who knows? Who would have known if Colby Covington would have called it? Would have called out of the fight? And if you called out of the fight, Vicente Luque might have been next.
Yeah, I think he knew that he wasn't getting called, so he didn't give a shit about his weight cut. So he's like, I don't really give a shit.
Well, he got paid at the end of the day. UFC paid him just for attempting to weigh in. It is what it is. And what are you going to do about it? He missed weight. Now, I've got another question for you. Who do you think is next for Kamaru? Who do you think? Who's next, man? I mean, he's beat most of the top 5 guys.
Well, I think the next person would be is Vincent Luque.
Vicente Luque.
I think that's the next guy.
How do you surpass Beneil Dariush? How do you?
He's not even number 2 though.
Oh, wrong rankings. My bad. Yeah, I guess Vicente Luque would have to be the next title. I mean, but how do you overpass Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal?
Easy. You just look them over. He already beat them too. Well, you need to have a rematch. I think the only people is Luque or Chamalov or Islam.
But he beat Leon Edwards back in 2015. It's been a long time coming.
So what?
So, I mean, it's possible that...
No, I don't think
with a dominant finish, if Leon Edwards dominantly finishes Jorge Masvidal, how do you deny him a title shot?
Easy. You say, no, you don't need it yet. You need to win a few.
Who, Leon Edwards?
Yes.
I believe he's on like a 5... No, he's on a significant winning streak. He is. He's been denied the title shot, but in my opinion, he's earned it, honestly, more than Colby Covington. Colby Covington's only fought... he had only fought once.
And he won.
Once in the past year.
You took the dominant champion of welterweight Usman to a decision. You don't think he deserves another shot after beating someone after that?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean,
same thing with
you can't say Leon Edwards, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't deserve that title shot, but Vicente Luque does.
Why not? He's number 2.
No, Vicente Luque is number 4.
So he dropped?
And Leon Edwards is number 3. I mean, these rankings are obviously going to change.
Well, here's the thing, right? So if Leon Edwards beats Jorge, I would say he has to fight Islam before he goes for a title shot. Or even if Jorge wins, he needs to fight someone else because you just got banged out by Usman, and then you beat Leon Edwards, then you need to fight someone else too. I think they both. Either way, is Jorge or Leon Edwards fight, they have to fight someone else before Usman. They have to. There's no question. They have to.
I agree with that. So then, what do you think about Colby Covington? Who does he face next?
Luque. or Islam. Islam has to fight one of these top 3 guys.
Wrong wrong division.
Who's wrong division?
You're saying Colby should fight Islam?
Yeah.
No, Islam's in lightweight. Different division.
No, he's not.
Yeah, Islam's in lightweight division.
No. Who is it? Chamav? Who's in welterweight? It's Chamav. Is in welterweight.
So in welterweight,
He's 6 or 5.
Michael Chiesa.
No. What division are you talking about?
The welterweight division.
Yes. Islam is welterweight.
Islam is lightweight.
Chamav is welterweight then.
Islam Makhachev?
No, Chamav.
Chumav. I mean, he's further down the rankings, though. I mean,
No. Oh, my dude. One of them is 5. Look at your rankings.
Stephen Thompson.
In welterweight?
In welterweight, yes, sir. In welterweight, Stephen Thompson is number 5. Michael Chiesa is number 6.
I don't know. I think something's wrong here.
No, I'm telling you.
Because they showed it on UFC last night. Islam is 6.
Islam is in lightweight division.
Then why is he going to fight Usman next?
I don't know why. I mean, it's a significant weight difference. They're 15 pounds in difference. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, all I know is Colby Covington either needs to fight Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson's on a lose. He hasn't had the best share of wins or losses.
Islam is lightweight.
Yeah,
Islam is lightweight.
Yeah.
So Chamav is welterweight. Chimaev, or whatever his name is, Chimaev. Is welterweight.
Hamzat Chimaev?
Yes, he's welterweight. Come on, man.
Okay.
What the fuck?
These fucking Russians' names throw me off, I don't know. Hamzat Chimaev.
It's 6.
Colby Covington doesn't want to fight him.
Right,
I'm
he's
tell you
6. Chimaev is 6. He's 6. Yes, he is 6.
Hamzat Chimaev is number 6. From having one fight
He's
in the
6.
past two years or whatever, he's number 6 now.
He's 6.
See, these rankings are bullshit. That's how I know. Because how are you going to fight once in 2 years and go from not being unranked to being number 6? I get it. He's 11-0. I get it. And a lot of people should be fearful about this dude. A lot of people should be fearful of this dude.
Right.
A lot of people, like even Dana White said, I'll throw him Nate Diaz. Look, a lot of people ain't going to want this fight with Hamzat Chimaev. I'm telling you. He's still a growing process.
Right.
He's in his mid-20s, and he's a very fearful opponent. Colby Covington, he's a dog, man. He can take some punishment.
Right. Chimaev is the one who's going to fight Jorge or Leon Edwards, whoever wins that fight, I think. Or Kobe might fight him as well. And then we're going to figure out who fights Usman next.
I think Colby Covington fights the loser of Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards. That's what I think. I mean, what else do you make? I mean, you don't want... Colby Covington deserves to still be in that top 5. He absolutely does.
Oh, I agree. He's not going to move down too far.
And with, Gilbert Burns, basically losing earlier this year to Kamaru Usman, and Leon Edwards, fighting Jorge Masvidal in the next month, I'm just... The rankings are going to see some difference, but Hamzat Chimaev will obviously fight any of them, 100%.
Right.
Throw him any of those big namers, and he's like, yes, let's move up the ranks. I'm down. But we're going to have to see. The rankings are going to change tomorrow. I'm sure people will go up and down, and we'll have a better updated rankings list.
Well, yeah, by Monday.
But, yeah, we're going to see. I just think Kamaru Usman deserves his recognition as the greatest fighter of the year. In my opinion, I believe. I mean, he's been super dominant.
He's been very active.
Yeah, and hasn't lost in what, 5 or 6 years? I mean,
yeah,
he hasn't lost in a significant time. And he deserves that recognition. So now we're going to get into the co-main event. Holy crap. This is a question for everybody out there. Was Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang possibly a robbery?
No. Stop.
It was very close. Significantly close
I think
decision.
it was close. Yeah, I think it was close.
Split decision.
Yeah.
I mean, and for all you guys watching, if you guys go and look at the judges' cards. Holy crap, that one judge had it 49-46. I don't know if he was smoking crack. I don't know what he was doing.
I don't even know if he was even watching the fight.
I don't
score
even,
like that.
Yeah, maybe he was watching the Canelo fight, which was happening at the same time. Look, it's crazy to judge a fight like that when it's obviously a lot of people say Weili Zhang won at least 2, possibly 3 rounds. I mean, it could have either gone either way, in my opinion.
What was your take? What was your score?
I think Rose Namajunas had the first round,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think Weili Zhang had the second round, and then I think Weili Zhang had the third round. In my opinion, I think the championship rounds really showed how Rose Namajunas was able to capitalize the true heart of a champion,
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my opinion, but I can't say that confidently because in my opinion, it could have gone either way. If Weili Zhang, I would have came in here and be like, yo, bro, your prediction on Wednesday was right. And I would have bowed down, man, because it was a really close fight and could have gone either way.
What's up, Osama? How are you?
Yo, what's going on? Thanks for chiming in. Greetings to you as well. Yeah, Rose Namajunas, she did what she had to do to get the job done, but it wasn't decisively.
So for me, I had 1 and 2. Oh, I think I was the same thing. 1 was Zhang.
Oh, you said Zhang. Oh,
Yeah.
so you think she won the first round?
I do. Rose lost the second round. Third round, I think it was split. I think Rose could have took it.
Yeah, third round was the closest.
Was split. I think Rose took the third. Fourth, Zhang, and fifth, Rose. I think Zhang won 3 of the fights, 3 of the rounds. But even so, it's not convincingly. So if it's not convincingly, the champion will always win. That's why they say you never leave in the judge's hands. You'll always lose. That's what happens. You don't leave it, and I think that's what happened. So left it in the judge's hands. Score was way different from what I expected. For that, like you said, the one judge scored a 49-46. Like, hello, sir, are you on planet Earth?
Yeah.
Like, it was not 49-46. It wasn't that convincingly of a beating.
It was not.
Like, grow up.
I think that's what ultimately gave her that the split decision victory. Was that judge doing the 49-46. But in the 5th round, it was getting sketchy. Because, yes, Rose Namajunas was able to pull that championship heart and at least get her on the ground and just ride it out for the last round. But it was getting sketchy. Those up kicks from Zhang were very nerve-wracking for me. All it took was literally her to connect with one of them, and that could have ended the fight, man.
Well, yeah, like, I think the 5th round was just pure dominant by Rose. She laid on her and dropped some bombs, threw some punches and stuff, like, I just don't... I don't think you could say robbery for Zhang because it was so back and forth. Like, I don't think it was a robbery because if you're not convincingly beating on someone, you're not winning the title in a decision against a champion. It's very, very rare for a champion to lose their belt in a decision.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it once.
Unless it's like absolutely unanimously dominated the whole fight against the champion. That's the only way I can see you beating the champion in that kind of fight.
Right.
Now, I'm on board with a run back,
Right away?
Not right away. Will not happen right away. They just fought twice this year.
So, no, I'm saying, like, do you think they're going to have to Zhang's going to have to fight with someone else and then run it back? Or you think they're going to just run it back?
Well, see, this is what we were talking about outside before this podcast.
Right.
See, Carla Esparza's number 2, right? And she's on a 5-fight win streak. But it seems like she's getting passed up, I get, and we looked at the record of Carla Esparza. She does have 2 split decisions out of those 5 wins.
And 2 decisions.
She did just recently knock out Jan, help me with this last name. You said it out there.
X is silent.
Yeah, X is silent in Chinese. Zayuan?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go with that. But yeah, she did. She definitely just knocked out that chick. But I think it was, her only fight of this year. She hasn't fought much this year, and then she fought twice during 2020. So it's like,
Yeah.
I get that these wins aren't convincing, but tell me there's nobody else but Carla Esparza is next. I mean, who do you see possibly fighting Rose Namajunas next?
Joanna. I think she drops weight and fights Rose again. That'd be a good fight.
Oh.
Yeah. Because Joanna Jojacek, she hasn't fought since her face blew up against Zhang.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not come back and fight Rose for a strawweight title? Get your title back.
But this is what I was saying to you outside. How do you get a title shot off of a loss? How do you get a title shot and a loss like that? Her face was blew up, bro.
Well, the thing is that she was a good champion. She was dominant too.
She was dominant, yes.
And usually dominant champions get an automatic rematch, as you can see with all the trilogies and duos and run it back kind of routine after you lose your title. Like, I can see her coming back and asking for a strawweight belt. Why not?
I mean, in the comments below the video, fans, give us your thoughts as to who do you see facing Rose Namajunas next. And as well as I have a question for you as well. Who do you see Weili Zhang fighting next? Like,
I can see her fight, if they don't run the title fight back right away, I can see her fighting Sparza. That will demand Sparza a title shot. That would demand it.
It
would demand it. She's on a 5-fight win streak. Even though her fights are subpar, she has one knockout in her last 5 fights, and she has all decisions. Even though they're splits and full decisions, there's still a win in my book. Win's a win. But if she fights Zhang Wang, if she fights her, that demands a rematch. It demands a title shot. So if Zhang fights Sparza and wins, she gets a title shot. It's just what it is. And if Sparza wins, she demands a title shot after beating the former champion and all that. I think that's where it goes.
How many wins do you think it takes her to get back to that the title contender status?
For who?
For Weili Zhang.
Weili Zhang? If she beats Sparza, it demands it.
Because
I think so.
Look, I don't know if one of these ladies is going to ever wind up going up in division.
They're not.
Into the flyweight division. But before that ever happens, look, let's be honest. We need to see that fight round back. Because the first fight, yes, was a phenomenal head kick from Rose Namajunas to end Weili Zhang's reign as champion. However, this fight, not so decisive.
It was back and forth.
It was back and forth. So for you to say, yes, and I love Rose, and I rooted for Rose for this fight, but I cannot sit here and hold my head high and be like, yes, she won that fight, because she may have.
It was back and forth.
Yeah.
Because if that one judge didn't score it like a bozo, like 49-46, man, I think it'll be a lot closer than what that said.
So, all right, well, let me ask you this question. So if that judge didn't do a 49-46, who do you think would have won that fight?
Rose still. You can't give it to a split decision to a defender. I mean, to Wang. You just can't. There's no way. There's no way you can do that. I'll be shocked if they give a contender the title for a split decision. There's no shot in hell I can ever see that happening.
See, now they did a lot of kind of fixings to the rules and the judges' rules and everything, and they basically came to a decision where they're supposed to give out more 10-8 rounds so that these close decisions don't necessarily happen.
Yeah.
And there's not so much controversial wins, but they're still not really giving out too many of those 10-8 rounds, which is leading to these really close fights where there's not really a definitive winner,
Right.
And it's like we were saying a few weeks ago, like, what do you think is the biggest issue in the UFC? And last night, possibly the judging. with these close fights, yes, Kamaru definitely won, but that was too close to be like, Kobe came back in those championship rounds where
4-5.
normally the champion would hold strong in those championship rounds.
Well, he did enough for the first 3 rounds, like we said earlier. He did enough for the first 3 rounds to just, like, he cemented his place.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, man. These close fights, they really get me on the edge of my seat. It was definitely a thrilling pay-per-view for everybody that watched it. It was awesome. If you got to witness this pay-per-view, it was worth every dollar. Every dollar. Now, we're going to skip to the next fight. And I'm going to wait for this Justin Gaethje fight analysis because, let's be real, fight of the night for sure.
By far.
So, Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Varaya. Whoa. That up kick.
Not surprised. Surprised.
That front up kick is like Anderson Silva level right there.
Yeah, on Vitor.
Yeah, on Vitor. Like, oh my God. It was, look, let's be real. Frankie Edgar's 40 years old. He's the former UFC lightweight champion. He's gone down 3 divisions in his career. Featherweight and now bantamweight. And
he's just getting dominated in every weight class.
In every weight class.
Like, how do you go down all three different weight classes and get dominated each time? You're trying to find your right place because you're trying to get back on a roll. You're going down, down, down. Oh, I'm going to find my itch right here. Man, you're getting banged out every weight class you go in. Time to hang him up. Let him go.
I mean, he's lost 4 of his last 5. He lost against Pedro Munez. He lost against Corey Sandhagen more recently. And, it's not looking good for you, bro. Like, it really isn't even at bantamweight. I think, and I may be saying this with a heavy heart because, look, he's a fellow New Jerseyan. He's an East Coaster. He comes from Toms River, New Jersey, right across the bridge.
Yep.
Look, I think it may be time
let go
for him to wrap this up and wrap those gloves up.
He looked good, though, in the first round.
He did, yes.
I gotta give him props and props are due, man. Like, he looked good. I was like, oh, Marlon might go out, man. He's tagging him.
Yeah.
And then Marlon comes out,
and throws that front up kick.
Just letting him know I'm still here, man.
Look, he did challenge the stoppage, and I would also like to get your thoughts on, do you think that was a great stoppage?
Yes, you're done. You got kicked in the nose. You're done, pal.
He was done.
And then you're lucky he went over you and about to pound you out, and the ref's like, "Yeah, you're done, bro."
Yeah, it was very unnecessary for that fight to ever think it could continue. He was done. I think he should wrap it up. There's nothing else to really prove. You were a champion in the UFC. Yeah, you weren't a champion in 3 divisions like you most likely hoped for. But there's nothing left to prove, man. You're 40 years old. I think it's time to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. And I think you should train fellow fighters to be the next champion, Stop being a gatekeeper. I'm all on board about telling these fighters when it becomes their time, they should know it's their time to call it quits. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with when you're 40 years old being like, am I doing this because my heart's still in this? Or am I doing this for a paycheck? Or like what are you really doing? Because at this point, he's been knocked out twice in a row.
Yeah.
And at least as far as I know. And there's nothing left. I mean, where are you going to go?
You're a champ. Like, I think everyone's like destined to do, and when you're a professional fighter or training to be a fighter, is become a champion. Yeah. You made your goal. You were a champ. You're an amazing fighter at your time. Now, time to put your gloves off, hang them up, and go on to the next adventure of you being a coach or being a good training partner or technique or a coach, something, man. I think that's where your route may go. I think that's where it should go. You probably are a great coach. It's just you're not a fighter anymore. Your time is the train has moved on. Just say the train has moved on.
The train has moved on. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's time to wrap it up. So we're going to get into this fight. Now, I'm not going to the Justin Gaethje fight yet. I'm not going to it yet. Let's talk about some Alex Pereira. Alex freaking Pereira was in the prelims, right? And he basically, for all you guys that don't know, we said this on the show on Wednesday, he beat the current middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya.
Not once, but twice.
Twice. In kickboxing, not in MMA. So this was his, I mean, he's 3-1. He was 3-1 as of before last night. Now he's 4-1. So he's had some fights in MMA. This was his first fight in the UFC. And he had some challenges to overcome, you know. I mean, what are you going to do? He fought this guy, Andreas Michailidis, and I was butchered his name on Wednesday. But John Anna came through last night with these great pronunciations and saved me for this show today. I'm not butchering it today. And Andreas took him to the ground and was like, oh, I get it. You're a striker. You're a great kickboxer.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you what the UFC is. And the UFC is an overall kind of game.
Yeah.
And let's see what your grappling's like. Took him to the ground with some scary moments for Alex Bahia. Scary moments. But Alex Bahia shines, baby. Shines.
With an ender as a fashion.
Yeah.
For fashion. Yo, man, I think he was just letting Izzy know, I'm here. I'm coming up to you soon. I think give Bahia a couple more fights. I think he might see Izzy sooner than later. I strongly feel that way. He's going to see him real quick.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out how fast Israel Adesanya decides to wrap those gloves up and retire as he starts edging closer to him. Now, look, we said this. Should Israel Adesanya be scared? Should he be scared?
I would. After seeing that I think it's, well, hold on. Let me retract what I just said. It's still early. I think he has an eye on him. Is he scared? No. Is he keeping an eye on him? Absolutely. He did a double flying knee to the guy's skull and knocked him clean. He knows that guy is very versatile. He's a striker at heart. He can fight.
Yeah.
He can grapple. He held his own grappling.
He did.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's not the best. He's all right.
Yeah.
But Izzy definitely has his eye on him for sure.
He was good at defending the grappling session with Andreas Michailidis, but let's be real, man. If somebody gets caught with some of his kickboxing skills or those knees like Andreas did last night, they're in for a rude awakening. This dude has some power. And he should not be overlooked. We mentioned this on Wednesday. I told you, do not sleep on that fight. It was the featured fight of the prelims.
Yeah.
And it showed, man. I mean, it showed. So,
even the crowd knew who he was because the crowd was booing when he was getting tied up. It was like, yo, boo, let him go. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he gave him space. I think he gave him too much space, and he hit you with that knee, and you took a nap. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see what's next for Alex Bahia, you know? So we're going to get into this Justin Gaethje fight. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. The best fight of the night for sure. Is it candidate for the fight of the year, Chris? Is it candidate for the fight of the year?
I don't know, man. Like that Quill, the Quinn Hill, is that his name? Quinn Hill, the fight after.
Yeah.
That was a great fight too. I don't know, man. I think Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje could be fight of the year. I think it has some competition throughout the year, but it's up there, man. Jesus, was that a great fight? That first round was probably the best first round I've seen in a long time in a fight. Because both of them had jelly legs. Both of them did. Either one of them could have went out that night.
And it's phenomenal to see this because Justin Gaethje, you know, he was the great fighter to come out of PFL. Michael Chandler comes out of Bellator. You even said on this podcast on Wednesday, Michael Chandler Overhyped. Does this change your mind, Chris?
No, he lost again.
He's a dog, though. You cannot deny.
No, I'll tell you something, right? If people don't know who Michael Chandler is, right, you can look up Eddie Alvarez, a Philly native, versus Michael Chandler in Bellator and all that. Those fights were crazy fights.
Yeah.
Those fights were top notch. Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez. That you want to talk about Justin Gaethje fight? I think the Eddie Alvarez and Michael Chandler fight was way better than
Absolutely.
those were just back and forth. They said, let's just gonna put our chins in the air and just swing for days.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. But to say what I said last week, that Michael Chandler is overhyped, I still believe he is the most overhyped fighter to come out of Bellator. So overhyped.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts to hear that.
It can't hurt because he's overhyped. Everyone's like, oh, Michael Chandler, oh, he's so good. Watch him dominate. He is not what you think he is. He is a great fighter. He is legit a top 8 fighter, not a top 5 fighter. He will never be a top 5 fighter. He won't. I don't think he is. He's proven last night that he has a chin and a heart, but he's not a top 5 fighter.
You don't think he deserves to stay in the top 5?
No.
Oh, wow. That really hurts to hear that, you know?
Oh,
I
no.
mean, look, let's be real. Do you think Justin Gaethje earned that title shot?
No.
Whoa! What the hell? You don't think he earned that title shot? Next.
Nope.
Who does? Who deserves it? And if you say Islam Makhachev, I will put this headphones down and walk out right now.
No,
There's no way.
I don't think either of them do. Honestly, I for lightweight, it's obviously Dustin and Charles Oliveira is going to fight next.
See, that's really bold of you to say. Because Justin Gaethje, before this fight, lost to Khabib, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loses to Khabib.
Correct.
So it says a lot for Justin Gaethje to go out with the heart he did last night and fight the kind of fight he did. And you think he still doesn't deserve this title shot. It blows my mind, Chris.
Like, you couldn't knock out the overhyped Michael Chandler. You couldn't knock him out. He's overhyped. He is subpar. And you couldn't finish him? It's silly to me. You both almost got knocked out.
I don't even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. You think Michael Chandler is overhyped, right?
Overhyped. He's a
the
number 8.
But the fights that he was in with Eddie Alvarez,
Right.
Justin Gaethje, you know, what?
Your heart in a fight, like
Patrice, I think it's either Patrici or Patricio Pitbull.
So if we're gonna talk about good fights and like heart, then why doesn't Clay Guida have a title shot? That's what you're pretty much saying. He has heart and puts on good fights. Clay Guida puts on good fights. Why doesn't he have a title shot?
I don't know, man. Because that's a stacked ass lightweight
So
division.
that's what I'm
man.
saying, right?
It's a stacked lightweight division, man.
That's what I'm saying, right? Is that if they don't put on a good show and they have wins, then yes, I'll agree with you. Michael Chandler can't win. He has one win in the UFC. And you're going to tell me that if he would have won, he would have got a title shot? Come on.
I mean, he lost against the current champion, Charles Oliveira, you know?
I know.
So his most recent fight was Charles Oliveira. Justin Gaethje's most recent fight was Khabib.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Khabib is the GOAT. Charles Oliveira is the new champion. And you don't think Justin Gaethje deserves this title shot?
Nope.
Who does then? I need to know who does. So
Hold on.
I mean,
Hold on. I'll explain what goes on here.
oh man,
So Dustin fights Charles Oliveira, right?
yeah.
Winner takes a break. Loser fights Justin Gaethje. Loser will fight Justin Gaethje, I feel. And then we'll decide who gets a title shot. So just say Dustin loses. He'll fight Gaethje. If Gaethje wins, beats Dustin, which I don't think that would happen anyway, he would fight the title shot. And I think if Dustin wins, he'll get a rematch. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Or we'll say this. Conor comes back, right? He's going to fight Justin Gaethje next. If Conor comes back, he might fight Gaethje next.
Take my money. I would love to see that fight.
And I think Gaethje gets knocked out. Clean.
What?
Clean.
These predictions are bold, bro.
I think Justin Gaethje
Conor
is
McGregor
just
hasn't
a
looked
top
the
5
best.
good fighter.
Justin can take a left-hand shot from Conor McGregor. I truly believe that.
He almost got banged out by
Conor
Michael Chandler.
McGregor's best
He cannot
weapon-
take a certain shot.
Conor McGregor's best weapon is his left hand.
I
don't think that's going to do nothing against Justin Gaethje. I think he can take those
He
shots all
almost
night.
lost to Chandler. If Chandler was being aggressive and had some
He never lost. Wait, you think
if
he almost
had
lost?
accuracy with his punches, Gaethje would have been knocked clean out.
You think he almost lost to Michael Chandler? Let's be
Yes.
realistic.
He had jelly legs. Are you kidding?
They both did. They both had their back and forth moments.
I understand that, but they're not accurate with their punches. Neither of them are. They're heavy-handed guys, which I give them credit to. They almost got knocked out to each other, but they missed a lot of clean shots where they should have landed because they were just trying to knock a guy out. You think Conor, with his accuracy, is going to miss?
I don't think Conor McGregor is going to stand a chance. I don't think that you're thinking of Conor McGregor 2014, 2015.
I'm not.
I think you're lost in the old days, man, because there's no way Conor McGregor still has that heart to fight somebody like Justin Gaethje.
I didn't say heart. I said he has accuracy and power.
I don't think he'll be able to land that left-hand shot. I really don't.
I'm going to disagree. Conor is very... I think him and Silva, I think, are like close to the same of accuracy with punches.
It's very...
They're the closest.
It's very bold of you to say that.
I think Gaethje's just a top 5 fighter.
Conor McGregor has suffered his worst injury ever.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So we don't even know what he's going to look like coming back into the octagon. We have not a clue.
Correct.
And we may not know that potentially till, if I had to guess, if he were to ever come back, I don't think it's going to be until at least spring.
I would say that.
Maybe.
I would say that in 2022 spring.
Maybe early summer.
I say that.
I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. And Justin Gaethje is on a win, bro, a significant win. He's not going to sit around and wait. I mean, you have the number 3 ranked Beneil Dariush, who's coming off wins. So I mean, where do you see? Do you see a Justin Gaethje? I don't see Justin Gaethje fighting a Beneil Dariush. I mean, he doesn't have nothing really to gain from that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think he's going to fight the loser of the championship. I think that's what's going to happen.
The timing does look good for that. I mean, they are 1 month. These fights are 1 month apart.
Right. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to fight the loser for contendership.
All right. Well,
or unless Conor comes back and then he fights somebody, because he ain't fighting for the title. That's for damn sure.
No, if he fights for the title, I will never watch UFC again. It's ridiculous. I get it. Conor McGregor is your biggest your biggest draw, and they make a ton of money when Conor McGregor fights. But for him to overshadow, Islam Makhachev, for example, or...
Well, the thing is, too, right, is if Conor does come back to the lightweight or welterweight, wherever weight class he chooses, they need him to win. UFC needs him to win.
They need him to win, yeah.
They want him to win. So they might give him a warm-up fight, too, to be honest.
But I think they're starting to learn because, like, even UFC 268, I don't know if it'll stack up to a Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor fight card, or Conor versus Nurmagomedov. I don't think it'll stack up with pay-per-view buys like that. However, they're starting to learn that they can put these stacked-ass cards together, and they can draw a lot of pay-per-view buys from it.
A lot.
And they can do well without Conor. They're learning to be like, look, in my opinion, Conor's best days are behind him. I really do.
No, I agree.
I mean, he wasn't winning that fight against Dustin.
No.
He was not. Before that leg injury, he was not winning that fight. And
he started to get clipped. And he was going to go back out.
I mean, and when you look at Conor McGregor, I mean, his last win was against Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Cowboy Cerrone may be on his way out as well.
He hasn't fought since.
He hasn't fought, and he just loves enjoying life. And he
made his money.
He made his money. He got that Conor McGregor, red panty night. You know what I'm saying? So, what else is there for him to prove as well? But it's like for somebody like Michael, Michael Chandler, I mean, he beat Dan Hooker, right? So there really isn't anybody. If I had to guess who Michael Chandler would fight next, I think it would be Rafael dos Santos.
That's if he fights again. Jesus, he backs out of every fight.
He backs out of every fight. But who doesn't back out against Islam Makhachev? We've talked about this before. I mean, not many fighters are going to fight him. So Islam Makhachev, yes, he's a dominant fighter. He is a future lightweight champion. I believe that wholeheartedly. He's still young. He's still going to improve. And look, people like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, they're not going to be around for much longer. I mean, they're still looking strong, in my opinion. But Islam Makhachev is just getting better and better each day. And Islam Makhachev, I believe, for as young as he is, he's going to be in this game for way much longer, at least 5 years more. And I just don't, I see him being a champion eventually. But for now, I mean, we're going to have to focus on December pay-per-view and see where this lightweight championship goes. Who takes the championship at the end of 2021 and starts off 2022?
Yeah.
And keeps this lightweight hype train going, man. I mean, I don't know.
Who do you
man.
got out of that title fight? Who do you got?
I've got Dustin Poirier.
Me too.
I think Dustin Poirier will win it.
I think he deserves it too.
Unless he gets caught up in one of these
Submissions?
quick submissions from Charles Oliveira. He's very lanky, and he finds a way to get those submissions. And, it's a real shame that we dived so deep on this UFC 268 card because we didn't even get a chance to talk about Canelo. And we've only got 8 minutes left of this podcast. Let's dive in. Rapid fire, baby. Canelo Alvarez unifies the belt against Caleb Plant. 11th round knockout. I bow to you, sir. Chris, You got that prediction right.
Perfect.
I picked, I think it was like 5th or 6th.
You said 6.
Yeah, I think I said 6.
I said 11th round KO. Good night.
I heard a lot of people also saying that there was a possibility of an upset. One of my buddies, he was like, look, man, Cal Plant, he may create some awkwardness and potentially upset Canelo. And I was like liking his prediction, but then at the same time, I was like, look, it's Canelo, bro. Yeah. It's Canelo. He's 52. He has 53 wins now. His only losses against Floyd Mayweather. Yep. What, 6 years? I think it was back in 2013.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say that Canelo is not the most recent GOAT. I can't say he overshadows Floyd because of what Floyd has done. But I mean, when you look at Canelo's record, right? So he has 54, 55 fights altogether with his draws as well, with Triple G. How do you say that his record doesn't look potentially better than Floyd's? I mean, he's 50-0, right? Well, look how much longer Canelo has to go. He's only 32, potentially 32.
He's more active than Floyd. I think that's the only thing people are looking at, that his record is because he's more active, but Floyd hasn't lost. That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing, yes.
That's the biggest thing. He doesn't lose. Mayweather doesn't lose. So Canelo fighting Plant was just so dominant. It was like Plant didn't even belong in the ring with him. As that's hard to say because he was 30 what was his record? Plant 30-0?
Yeah, no, 21-0.
21-0. All right, sorry. 21-0.
So yeah, he takes that undefeated record from him.
It's just evident that Canelo was beating his ass.
He was.
Like in the 11th round was just, he knocked him down. He gets back up. He beats the 8 count. He gets back in there, tells the ref, "I'm cool." Canelo runs at him.
Yeah.
As like, "You ain't getting away. I got your ass." Knocks him out, and Canelo's just like, "Told you, you ain't beating me."
Canelo is very good at smelling blood, man. And when he gets you hurt, he finds that knockout, man. He got it, man. I mean, God bless him, man. So he unifies the belt. Look, I don't really know who's next for him. I don't know where he goes from this. I mean, you've got all the belts. Yes, there's contenders out there, and we don't necessarily have the time to talk about it, unfortunately. We'll cover it on Wednesday's show.
Yeah, Wednesday at 6.
Wednesday at 6. Tune in. Don't forget. But I also want to mention this. So Dana White, like we said, was watching the Canelo fight when the Rose Namajunas fight was going on. He put a bet in.
100 G's.
100 G's. I wish I had that money to fucking bet, but, I'm just a normal person. But comes out $141,000 richer, $41,000 richer once he got his, money back.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you just how much of an influence Canelo Alvarez has all around the world, I mean, he's obviously loved by all the Mexican community. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to see where he goes from this. I mean, he's still young. He's in the prime. Now, I have this question, and I may get butchered. I don't give a crap. Look, Canelo is still in his prime. Probably basically just, in my opinion, just getting into his prime. He just looks better and better every fight. If him and Floyd were ever to tie things back up, what would happen? I mean, Floyd is 50. Floyd is 50. Close to 50, I think. He's up there, man.
He's up there. Yeah, it'd be tough, man. Floyd is just Floyd. He's a defensive boxer. He's always been a defensive boxer. He perfected the shoulder roll. The shoulder roll is every boxer tries to do the shoulder roll, and Floyd is just king at shoulder roll.
Or is he the king at hugging?
Well, Floyd.
Come on, baby. A lot of people say it, man. He is absolutely the most defensive boxer there is.
He's a king at defensive boxing.
He's
works
great
his
at
jab.
the clinch.
He's good at his movement. He knows when to move away from the fighter's punch. When he's trying to look for the right hand, he moves to the fighter's left. Like, he can't hit it. So Floyd is just an ultimate dominant defensive boxer. Canelo, yeah, he is good. He's getting better with age, but it's hard to say that he would beat Floyd. I don't know.
I think if they were to run this back, I think Canelo would have him in some trouble, man. I do.
Well, that's a topic for another day.
Floyd's best days are behind him, in my opinion. Now it's just exhibition fights and big money fights.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see where Canelo goes from this.
Well, we could jump into it on Wednesday. We have to start wrapping up, though.
Yes. So we're getting to the end of this show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I would thank you for the comments in the video. And I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for subscribing and following us on Instagram. I appreciate all the love. So after this show, we've got the Breakfast and Body Slams live on Facebook. They're going to be coming right. They're going to be right after us. Go to bodyslams.com to watch that video, as well as follow them on Body Slams Podcast YouTube page. Go and subscribe to their page as well. And then tomorrow we have the Sullivan Squad from Devereaux Sports page. They will be live on Facebook reacting to NFL and giving you all the reactions for the East Coast Philadelphia team, the Eagles, and their game against the LA Chargers today. And then we have the Old School Show on Tuesday. They dive right back into history with sports and give you the best content around. And then on Wednesday, we're back in the studio covering this next fight event with Max Holloway. He's on the main event. He's trying to get back in the title picture. We'll see where he goes, and we'll give our predictions for that event as well. And then Thursday, Breakfast and Body Slams is back live on Facebook, 9:05. 9:05. And then we're back into the studio next Sunday. It just keeps going here at Devereaux Sports. Follow us for all the sports content, Eagles, Sixers, Union, Flyers, or hockey, and MMA.
Yep.
We're here for all the love of sports. You guys have a great day, and enjoy your Sunday.